Hello, chicos. Good morning. I am ready. How are you guys? Are you guys ready also? Okay. I since I didn't get any questions from you guys, I'm just going to choose a few exercises that I see. Can you hear me well? Please let me know if you can hear me well. Uh, I'm going to choose some exercises that will that I've seen that maybe some of you have trouble, and but if there's anything in one of the exercises, then or in one of the problems, then let me know so that I can help you. Okay, so we're gonna start with problem set 87. Maybe what I would like from all of you is that you put on your notebook live class Thursday, March 26th. And so that we have all of these in our notebook, please, okay? And let's just start working on some of these. Okay, in problem set 87, we're gonna do 12. Remember that what you want to do is when you multiply, you want to add the exponents. And when you do divide, you want to subtract the exponents. Okay, so here I'm gonna keep m because it's the same base. And I'm going to add 1a plus 2a. That was going to be 3a plus 2. Okay, and then for y, I'm going to have y minus b. And then I'm going to subtract all of these. And I'm just going to write it here so you guys see what's happening. Since I'm subtracting, I have to put the negative in front so that it changes both of the signs. Okay, and so my final answer will be 3a plus 2. And then for the y, it's going to be negative b minus minus is positive. So negative b plus b is 0. And so we just have a negative 2 left. And that's it. Okay, so remember to do those very carefully. Again, I'm going to welcome to the ones that are connecting now. What I'm going to do is just go over some exercises that I think have been causing trouble to some of you. But if you have a specific question, what we can do is that you please write your answer on the chat. Write your question on the chat. Now I'm going to be explaining. You can also just copy these later from the link. Watch the video again and copy it. Okay. All right, very, very good. Okay, let's do 13. 13 is similar, but that one has a power. So it's m to the a minus 3 power to the second power, then a y over ma yb plus 1. Another thing you can do is just be in your own problem set 87 and check your process. If your process is not the same, or if it doesn't get to the right answer, you can also make the correction right there. Just make sure you write it with a different color pencil and maybe put life right next to it so that you remember that we did that during the live class, okay? Because if you already did this and you did it the right way and you did the right process, you don't have to rewrite it in your notebook. But if you didn't, or if you were not sure about your process, then yes, I want you to have it. Okay, so remember the power rule is that we have to multiply the exponents. So is 2a minus 6. And then the y stays the same. Now, remember that these two that are dividing are going to come up to subtract. So the a is positive. It's going to come here as negative a. And then let me move this a little bit. And then this one has a 1, so I can't forget about that 1. And then these are going to come to subtract. And we saw in the exercise again before that the negative is going to affect both of them and change their signs. So I'm going to just change the signs to save time. And then I simplify these two. 2a minus a is a minus 6. And then 1 minus 1 is 0, so minus b. And that's it. Okay, pretty easy, right? Okay, excellent. Okay, excellent. Let's continue. If you have any questions, also put it there like, hey, I didn't understand how you did that or something like that. Okay? All right. Another thing is that I've been having troubles with internet. I don't know if you have also, but so if we get disconnected, I'll start again another video. So if you could please subscribe to my channel, then you can easily see when I have a new live video going on. And then it's easier for you to reconnect with me. Okay? 25. 25 was one that some of you just did funny things. Okay? So let's see what was it. Okay? Chicos, remember that you have to be very, very responsible for your work and your learning in this time more than ever, okay? If you have questions, you should be communicating with me. If you get to an answer and you're not sure, you should ask for help, because what we're working, we should be sure of what we're doing, okay? Okay, so in this case, what we have to remember is that these two, because this is a quadrilateral that is inscribed in an angle, these two angles that are opposite to each other add up to 180, or they are supplementary. So I know that x plus 75 has to be 180, okay? And we learned that when we learned about quadrilaterals inscribed in a circle. So the 175 goes to subtract, and the answer is 105. Most of you got that one correct. The problem is with the next one, with y. And what happens is, remember that these are like scissors, and they cut here and cut here, okay? So this arc that is formed here, this arc, that is double this one. So the arc is 70 times 2, 140. Nice, another color so that you see the difference. So 140 equals what? Well, 80 plus y. And that's how we get y, okay? So 140 minus 80 is 60. Okay? Again, remember, is the arc that is formed by this angle, by the let me turn this off. The arc that is formed by the rays of this angle, that's the one that is double this, and then that's so it would be these two together, which then gives us the y. Okay? All right. Let's make sure that we are not just writing a lot of things on the chat, please, because I need to be able to see if there is a question. So no talking on the chat, please, from now on. I just want to see the questions. Is that clear, chicos, please? Thank you. All right. Okay, so let's continue. Any questions with this one? It's easy, right? Sometimes we just forget what the properties or the things that we learned that help us solve an exercise. But once we remember, then it's easy. Okay, excellent. You have been doing great also with your videos. So that's great. 30, because 30 is one that you usually struggle with, some of you. So minus 9 to the negative 3 halves power, and then minus 27 or negative 27 to the negative 2/3. Okay? Remember, yes, you can do this in the calculator, but that's not the point right now. Right now, what we want is that you show the process. So you have to show the process, okay? And the process is, part of the process is to change, well, to get rid of these negatives, but also to change these into radicals. So you have to show that, okay? All right, so first thing we can see, or we can notice, is that these negatives are both outside, so they simplify each other. Negative divided by negative is positive, so they're gone, okay? Then we see that both the 9 and the 27 have a negative exponent, which means they're going to change the position. This one will go to the top, and this one will go to the bottom, okay? So let's rewrite it as negative 27 to the 2/3, and then here 9 to the 3/2, okay? Notice how the negative 27 is in parentheses, and we keep it in parentheses so the negative is part of it. Okay, now this is the part that some of you forget, and it is that we have to change this into an exponent, a radical and an exponent. This is the index of the root, and this is the exponent. So it's going to be cubic root, because there's a 3 here, so I put a 3 here in the index, and then negative 27. I don't need the parentheses anymore because it's already all of it inside of the here. And then that is squared. Why squared? Because there's a 2 in the exponent, okay? And then in the bottom, we have, 9 and a square root, because this is a 2, and then to the 3rd power. That step is really important, okay? That step is very, very important. Okay, I'll answer your question in just 1 second, okay? I want to finish this one. Okay, so the cubic root of negative 27 is negative 3, and negative 3 in a parenthesis, we can just keep the parenthesis so we don't forget. Negative 3 squared is 9, right? And then here, the square root of 9 is 3, and 3 to the cubic power, the 3 to the 3rd power is 27. And so now we can simplify 9 over 27, and our final answer is 1/3. Okay? 1/3. That would be it. That's the process you have to show. Some of you just show me the change here of the negatives changing places, and then they put the answer. That's not enough. You have to show the complete process. And if you haven't learned it, then you have to learn how to do the complete process. Again, the denominator is the index, and the numerator is the exponent, okay? And you have to do that for both of them. All right, we are going to be in this same lesson, but we're going to go to exercise 8 and 9. Yeah, 8 and 9. Okay, yeah, in the 8 and 9 are the inequalities that we have to graph. So let me write here 8. It says graph x cannot be less than 4, negative 4, and the domain is integers. Okay, so remember that in this case, what you have to do first is pass to positive, okay? So if it can, to affirmative, if it cannot be less than, it can be greater or equal, okay? Remember, there are 3 symbols: less than, greater than, and equal. So if we're taking away 1, we can do the other 2. If we're taking away 2, then we can only do 1, okay? So the negative 4, okay? So which numbers are greater than negative 4 or equal and are integers? So when we think about this, what we have to remember is that integers, we're going to do dots. Remember, we have to remember that. Integers is dots, real numbers is the straight line. This tells us that we're going to the right because it's going that direction. The arrow is pointing to the right. And this tells us that we have to include negative 4. So this would be the first one, negative 4. And then we have negative 3, -2, -1, 0, 1, and so on. Okay? And so we're going to put a dot on each one of them. Now notice that in this case, since it's not telling us just negative integers, we have to keep going. So our answer needs to have a point arrow saying that it keeps going. Okay? All right. Let's do number 9. Again, chicos, if I'm going too fast, you can go back and watch this video later so that you can copy all the exercises if you're not sure about them or if you didn't do them correctly in your homework. Okay, let's do 9. Negative x plus 2 is less or equal to -3. And we have to solve only for positive integers. Okay? So what you have to remember here is you just have to be careful on passing the positive 2 that's going to come here as -2. So negative x, this one stays the same because there's no change here. And here is going to be -3 minus 2, it's going to be -5. Okay, because the positive 2 goes to the other side to subtract. So it's -5. And then, since we have a negative multiplying here, it needs to go to the other side to divide. And in this case, it's very important, I'm going to put it in red, when you multiply or divide by negative numbers, you always have to change the direction of the symbol. So it was going to the left, now it's going to the right. Okay? So we want the positive integers that are greater or equal to 5. Okay? And in this case, those will be, I'm going to do it here. Here will be 5, 6, 7, 8, and again it keeps going. And it's going to be 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, and keep going. Okay? Very good. Excellent. Okay, we're going to continue with problem set 88. If you have any questions, please write them in your chat. Okay, excellent. I hope you guys are doing great, staying healthy. Part of staying healthy is you have to be sleeping enough, not going to bed late. Also, you should be doing something with your mind besides all the great math you're doing. But you should be also reading, maybe doing Duolingo, learning a new language. Make sure you use this time that you have to do things that maybe you don't have time in other moments to do. Okay? All right. Okay. Let's do a different one. Let's do maybe 15 of 88. Again, if there's something that anyone of you needs from one of these lessons, then just let me know. Okay? All right. So we have PC over P minus C squared over P minus 1 over BC. Remember, we talked about this one being like a onion that has a lot of layers, and that we have to go carefully doing one by one. Okay? All right. So we're gonna do here. This is the first one we're gonna do, the first layer, and we have to make it the same denominator. Why? Because it's a fraction. And when it's an addition of fractions, and so whenever we're adding, we always have to have the same denominator. So since this is 1, I want PC I have to multiply it times PC, and here also times PC. So I'm going to just rewrite everything so that you see where we go one by one. So this is PC over P minus C squared. And since I'm going to have to do division, I'll put it over 1. And then here it's going to be P times P is P squared C minus 1 over PC. Now, two things that I want to remind you about these exercises that some of you did funny that you need to remember not to do. Some of you just took away this negative and just put P2C and forgot that there was an addition or a subtraction there. And you cannot do that. That's the whole point of what we're doing here is an addition. So make sure you keep the 1. It's important. Don't just put everything together. You have to keep an addition or a subtraction. And then the other thing is that the whole point of what we're doing here is that we're doing an addition. We're making the same denominator. And just as whenever you do, for example, 7 nines minus 2 nines, what you do is you keep the 9 and then do 7 minus 2, 5. Well, the same here. You're just keeping, you want one denominator and you're keeping it to, the same. You're not going to multiply like each other, PC times PC, or do anything funny like that, okay? So try to remember what you know from regular fractions with numbers, and then do the same here, okay? All right, so we're going to do the division here. Remember, when we do division, the outside goes on the top, and the inside goes on the bottom. Okay, so let's continue. One color. I'm going to rewrite here. I'll do it here. PC over P minus C squared times PC is C cubed P over 1 times this is just that, P2C minus 1. Okay? And we cannot cancel the C's there because this is an addition or a subtraction, and we cannot cancel that C because it's not a factor, okay? But now we're going to do the next layer, which is making this addition. And again, it has different denominators, so we want to multiply this times P squared C minus 1 to make it the same denominator as here, and P squared C minus 1 here. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to write PC, and again, since I know it's going to be a division, I'm going to put it over 1 over, and I make my line a little longer so that I remember what we're doing. And then here is going to be P times P squared is P third to the third power C, and the P times 1 is P, and then minus C3P. All of that over P2C minus 1. Okay? And there's no like term, so there's nothing we can do there. So now we're going to go ahead and do the division. Again, the outside goes on the top and the inside on the bottom. So my final answer is PC times, and I'll just put it like this, PC times P2C minus 1 over P3C minus P minus C3P. Okay? And yes, I could multiply to simplify that. So let's go ahead and do it, just so we have it there. So it's going to be P3 C2 minus PC over P3 C minus P minus C3P. Okay? This is a lot of steps, a lot of work and time, but if you do it carefully, there should be no problem. All of you know how to do it. Okay? Excellent. All right, let's continue. I see some of you have a question on 29. and also 21. So let's do those two. Okay? All right. 21 and 21 and 29. Okay, 21. 21. We don't have to do 21 of 88. Of 89. Okay. Just 1 second then. And then 29. Let's see, 29 of this lesson of 88. Oh, okay. Well, that's an old one that we worked a lot a few weeks ago. So let's review it. We're going to do problem set 88, 29. Okay. And that's the one, right? I do not understand how to do 29. Okay. So what we have here is 3 parallel lines with some other intersecting lines. And what we have to remember about these, so we don't get things confused, is that we have angles that are being formed, right? All of these are angles. And also, we have segments that are being formed. So we have to be careful not to confuse the segments with the angles, okay? The segments are these. Okay, so make sure we don't get confused with those things. Okay, can you guys hear me well? Can someone say something, please, just to see if you guys are hearing me? Can someone hear me or no one can hear me? Okay, great. Thank you. Awesome. So good to see you all. I miss you all so much. Okay, so let's do this first, okay? I'm going to ignore everything that has to do with angles right now. The angles are the ones that have the little degree on the top. And I'm just going to work on the segments. And the segments, remember, that is very easy. All you have to do is make a proportion. This on top of this equals this on top of this. So that's what I'm going to do here. 4/3 over 7/3 equals the 7/4 over x. And then I cross multiply. And so I know that I have to multiply 7/3 times 7/4 and then multiply by the reciprocal of 4/3, which is 3/4. And then I cancel what I can, which is only the 3's. Okay. And my answer is going to be 7 times 7, 49. And 4 times 4, 16. Okay, so that one is very easy, but what we have to make sure is that we don't combine the segments with the angles. So now in black, let's do the segments. Let's do the angles. So in the angles, it tells that this angle is 83. Okay, let's see there. Can you see well? Okay, so that angle is 83. And then what they're asking is for this angle down here. That's our question. Okay, notice that the blue doesn't work at all here. Now we don't have to use the blue at all. All we have to see is that all these angles that are formed here are the same if they're going the same direction. So the ones that are falling like that are all the same. Okay, so this is 83, this is 83, this is 83, this is 83, and this is 83. Okay, and so what we have to see is y 83 or is y the supplement? And in this case, y is not 83 because y is going the opposite direction, is going like this. So y is the supplement. So how do I find y? 180 minus 83, which is 7 and 9. 97. Okay? Is that clear? Yes? Awesome. So be very careful. Work with the segments in one side and the angles in another one. All right, very good. So now let's go to, you're welcome. Let's go to lesson 89 if we're done with 88. Remember, if you have questions, you have to tell me, okay? You have to tell me. Okay, so let's go. I want to remind you that since we're doing all of this work, I want this to be correct in your notebooks. So you either check the work that you did and make sure that what you did is what we did right now. And if not, make the corrections. Or if you didn't know how to do it, then either write it where the answer should have been or write it in another section that is called Live Class March 26. But everyone should have all these answers correctly in your notebooks. Okay. 89. 89. Which one? 89? 21. Okay, let's do that one. No, you don't have to do 21. Sorry, if I told you you had to do it, I'm sorry, but 21, you don't have to do it. I think this might have been the lesson where I got confused and I put odd, and you were not supposed to do all the odd. You were supposed to do the exercise. And what I did is I put the assignment for 8th grade for you and for you for 8th grade. So I'm sorry. Is this the exercise that I put 89 odd? Let me check. It might have been 89. Well, I might have changed it, but yeah, I don't know. But you do not have to do, yeah, sorry. You do not have to do 21 on 89, okay? All right. Let's do 8 though. Actually 6, 7, and 8, since this is from this lesson. And I did not explain these, but you learn it by yourselves. I'll see what happens, okay? We want integers, okay? All right, so in this case, they're going to give us 2 conditions. So it's like, okay, who can come to the party? Both. Who can come to the party? These people and these people. So it's giving me 2 characteristics, okay? So we have to see how is that going to work. So we solve the equations like usual. We solve the equations to see what's happening. And so in this case, I pass the -5 here to add. And so 5 minus 3 is 2. And then the negative makes the change of the direction of the symbol. So now it's going to go this way and changes the sign of the 2. So we want all the numbers greater than -2. Okay? And then on this one, we want x less than, and is 1 plus 3, changing the sign, which would be 4. Okay? So we want the numbers that are greater than -2 and also less than 4. So it's like that they have these 2 requirements. So integers is going to be dots. So let's see which ones are numbers greater than -2. Well, if here's -2, greater or equal is going to be -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and keeps going, right? Okay? But then I also have to see the ones that are less than 4. So is 5 less than 4? No. So I have to take that one away. Is 4 less than 4? No, it's equal. So I have to take that away. And that would be the only answer. Why? Or the correct answer. And why is that again? because these are the only numbers that meet these two requirements, that they have to be greater than -2, and these are greater or equal to -2, but also they have to be less than 4. So it's like there's two limits, two stopping points, the -2 and the 4, and we have to see which numbers are between those two. Okay? All right, excellent. Yes, this is problem set 89, and we're doing number 6, 7, and 8, just to make sure that we all understood why this is happening. Okay, so again, they give me two characteristics that the numbers that I'm gonna graph have to have. Both characteristics have to happen on the numbers, okay? So let's go to the next one. Let's go to teacher, but don't. No, we don't include the 4 because the 4 is not included here, okay? So if you put it like this, I guess that's fine, but it's unnecessary because the idea is to graph the points that do meet these requirements, and 4 is not. So 4 is not even important, okay? If you put it like that, where it's clear that it's open, it's okay, but again, it's not necessary, so it doesn't look nice, I guess is the thing, okay? Because we don't need to say what is not, because then why can't we put circles in all of them? I'll put circles here and here and here, you know what I mean? So we don't need to put those circles there. Let's just put what it is, not what is not, okay? All right, let's continue with the next one. Let's continue with number 7. Another thing that is important that you should be doing is some exercise. And I can't speak much of that because I haven't been doing much exercise, but it's important that we keep our bodies also healthy, doing some kind of activity. So keep your mind going and your body going healthy. Okay, we will do number 7. Okay, in this case, the domain is real, and we have to look for the numbers that are, and this is how we read it. Remember, we read from the center to the left and from the center to the right. Okay, so x minus 4 is greater than -4, and x minus 4 is less or equal to 1. That's what that's saying. And what is happening is here is that this -4 is going to affect here and is going to affect here. It's going to affect both of them. Exactly. Around the fridge until you decide what you want to eat. Okay, so the -4 is going to come here as +4. So -4 plus 4 is 0. Let's write it. -4 plus 4. And then here is 1 plus 4. Okay, so again, the -4 is going to come here to add 4 and to add 4 in both sides. Okay? All right, so this is 0 and this is 5. So now the numbers that I want to graph are, remember this is numbers, all the numbers greater than 0 but less or equal to 5. So it's very easy. I just do my graph here. I put 0 and I put 5. And this one is open. And in this case, since it's my limit, I have to put it. And then this one is not open, it's included. So I make a very big, clear thing. And since it's real, I have to include all of them. Okay. Now I want someone to write on the chat how many answers are there between 0 and 5 in this exercise. How many answers? How many numbers are greater than 0 but less or equal to 5? How many? How many? Someone tell me. Infinite. Very good. Infinite. Infinite. Because remember, all these numbers here that I don't even know which ones they are, all of these numbers, they're my answer. All of them. And since I can't do it like that, that's why I do a line. Because they're infinite numbers. All of these numbers that are between 0 and 5. Remember, even between 0 and 1 or 1 and 2, they're infinite numbers because between, you can find, okay, 0.5, and then between 0 and 0.5 is 0.45, and between, like they're so dense. I mean, they're dense and they are infinite numbers. Okay, excellent. All right, continue. Excellent, chicos, excellent. Okay, let's do number 8. Hey, yeah, 8. Remember, the process that I make is a process that you have to show. So make sure that you show all the process to get all the points. All right, 8 says, negative x is not greater or equal to 2, or negative x is less than 1, domain real. Okay, now look that this is a different word. This is or, okay? The first one said and that's different. Whenever we have and, it's a conjunction, and whenever we have or, it's a disjunction. And the difference is that in and, the numbers have to meet both of the requirements. But in this one, the numbers can be this or they can be that. So it's like two different things that they can meet, okay? So it's not like they both have to be these two things. They actually don't share anything. So we're going to do opposite ways, you'll see. Okay, so here first we put it in affirmative because it's telling us what it cannot be. So we say if it cannot be greater or equal, it can be only less than 2. And once it's in affirmative, I get rid of the negative, which the negative changes the direction and the sign. Okay? Notice that if you change this before passing this, you will have a little bit of confusion. So first pass it to affirmative and then solve for x. And then this one is ready. So notice that here we have all the numbers greater than negative 2. Okay, so here I have negative 2. And here, oh, no, sorry, this is not ready. I have to change it. I have to change the direction and change the sign. Okay, so let's see that I did everything correctly and that I copied it correctly. Okay, so in this case, I have to see, okay, let's try to graph those two numbers. Let's see what would be the numbers that are greater than negative 2 or greater than negative 1. So in this case, notice that both of them are going the same direction. If they were not going the same direction, then we could graph something like this. Okay, and that would be a disjunction. But a disjunction also can be going in the same direction, but seeing which one I have. So here is 0 going that direction, negative 2 going in that direction, and then negative 1 is here. Okay? And yes, there are some numbers that they share, but even these numbers that they don't share, they're going to be part of our graph. So our graph is going to be that. We're going to include from negative 2 on, okay? And so if you say, teacher, but these numbers here, for example, all of these numbers here are not greater than negative 1. It's okay. Why? Because of this word. is saying the number that you choose, it has to either fall here or here. Okay? It doesn't matter if it doesn't fall on both. It doesn't matter if it doesn't meet both of the requirements, but it has to either be here or here. And that's why we included from -2 on. Okay? Is that clear? Excellent. All right. What else of 89 should we do? If not, we can continue. Let me see, just 1 second here. If there was another one I wanted to do. Did you understand the other part of the lesson about the circles and the secant lines and all of that? No questions there? Okay. Let's do 29 of 89, just to make sure that, again, everyone got it correctly. They give us a rhombus, parallelogram, and we have to find X, A, and B. So I'm going to draw it here. Okay. And this is 4X plus 10. This is 6X plus 20. This is A, and this is B. Okay, so what you have to remember is the properties of the parallelogram. Miranda, you have question on 9 and 10? Okay, we will do 9 and 10 in just a second, okay? What you have to remember about this 29 is that these two numbers are the same. These two angles are the same, and these two are the same. And any of two consecutive angles are supplementary. So what does that mean? That if I add these two, they're going to give us 180. So that's what we're going to do. 6x plus 20 plus 4x plus 10 equals 180. And why can I affirm that? Because we learned that property when we learned parallelograms. Okay, so 6 plus 4 is 10x. 20 plus 10 is 30. That is going to go to subtract. And so then the 10 goes to divide 150, which makes AX 15. Okay, and the question is find X, A, and B. So we already found X, right? Now we're going to find A. And how do I find A? Well, I know A is the same as 4x plus 10. So all I have to do is evaluate for 15 here. 4 times 15 plus 10, which is not 30, 60, plus 10, 70. Okay? Now we can do the same for B. We can say that B equals 6x plus 20 and evaluate. Or, since these two are consecutive, they're next to each other, then we can just subtract. B is going to be 180 minus 70, and that's a lot faster and easier, which is 110. You get the same answer if you were to put 15 times 6 plus 20. Okay? Excellent. All right, let's go back to 9 and 10. This was 29. Okay? Exercise 29. Let's go to 9 and 10. Another thing that you have to be careful is your spiritual life. Make sure that you're feeding your soul, listening to the right music, reading the right things, reading your Bible. It's important that we stay strong and that we also use this time to look to connect with God, to hear from Him, and also to see what He's doing and what He wants to teach us during this time, okay? Remember, He's in control of everything. So, balance your time. Don't just watch Netflix all day. Balance your time and do things that also feed your spirit, okay? That should be the most important thing that we should be doing. Okay, so in this lesson, in lesson 89, we learned that if we multiply the two little pieces that are formed here, so this piece times this piece is going to be the same as this piece times this piece. So that's what we have to use. So I'm going to say 2 times 14 equals 7 times x. Okay, so the little piece that is formed times the other little piece, and this piece times this piece. And then the 7 is going to go to divide, all right, because we want to get rid of it in this side. And we cancel. Notice how I waited, because why do I have to multiply if I'm going to have to divide again? And 2 times 2 is 4, so x equals 4. Okay, easy, right? Okay, so now let's do number 10. Number 10 is the other kind, the kind where we have the seconds. These are called chords because they connect 2 points of the circumference. And then the secants or the tangents go out, okay? And so it is like this. 10, oh, sorry, I'm looking at D, 4, 2, and 6. So it has one going this way a little bit, and then another one going this way. This is 4 and 6. And then this is 2 and Y. And what the lesson teaches on this one is that what you have to do is multiply the little one on the outside, or the one on the outside, times the whole thing. So it's 4 times 4 plus 6, 10. Okay, so it's the small part times the whole. And the same on the other side, the small part times the whole. Now, what's the whole here? 2 plus y, because you have to add 2 plus y. Okay? So it's the small part times the whole. That's what you have to remember. Okay? And so we solve for y. And these two can do distributive property, or you can also just pass to divide. So 40 divided by 2 is 20, equals 2 plus y. And then the 2 goes to subtract, which is 18. And again, you can do distributive property and you still get the same answer if you do it like that. Okay? Okay. Just to explain, since we're doing that one, let me explain letter D from the practice, which that one is not, both of them are not secants, but we have a tangent. Okay, so I'm going to do here D from the practice. And again, it has the same as circle, but instead of 2 secants, it has a tangent. What is a tangent? It's the line that touches only one point. Notice how this touches 2 points, here and here. That's why this is called a secant, because it touches 2 points of the circumference. And this is called a tangent because it touches only 1 point. Okay, and in this case, we have 6 here and 4 and y. And actually here is the same rule that we did here. Is the one on the outside times the whole. So what's the one on the outside here? Is 4. Can you see here? Yes. 4 times the whole is 4 plus y. And then what's the one on the outside here? Is 6. And what's the whole? It's also 6, right? Because this is on the outside. Yes, it's on the outside of the circle. And that's also the whole line, the whole segment. So that's 6. And so whenever you have tangent, you can remember that it is 6 square, or the tangent is square, equals this times the whole. And again, I can just do, I'm going to do in this case the distributive property just so you see that we do the same thing. Okay, so 5 times 4 is 16, 4y equals 36. And then the 16 goes to subtract, which is 20, and the 4 to divide, which is 5. Okay. All right, excellent. I hope that's very clear. This is all very easy. Now you have to memorize these rules, these formulas. Again, the tangent square equals the outside times the whole. Then when there are 2 secant lines, then it's the outside times the whole equals the outside times the whole. And when we have chords, which was the example number 9, or the exercise number 9, sorry, I'll erase this first. Then with the chords, what it is like each one of the sections that is formed times each other is going to equal pi. All right, excellent. Let's continue with 90. Do you have any questions in problem set 90? Problem set 90. Any questions for problem set 90? Okay, well, if you don't have any questions, I am going to do 17. I lost it, but now it's here. So let's go to 90. We're going to do number 17. And number 17 has a circle, and it has an inscribed angle. Remember, inscribed means that the vertex is on the circle. So that's what that means. And what it's asking is that we find, it tells us that the radius is 5, and we have to find the length of that arc ABC. Okay, so let's remember what was the formula. What was the formula to find the length of an arc? I guess I cannot ask for you to write it because it's kind of long and kind of hard to write, but I can remind you here. Let's write the information that they are saying. This is the radius. If we were to find the radius here, it's 5. And they want us to find the arc ABC, which is the major arc, is this arc that goes here. Okay, now the length is not in angles. The length is in centimeters also. So we have to use that formula that we had learned. Okay, so let's first see what is the measurement of that arc, the in angles. So using what we were talking about before, if this is 60 and here is my cut here and here, this angle that is formed here, it's going to be 120. And if that's 120, then this arc here is going to be 240. How do I know that? Because it's 360 minus 120 is 240. Okay? So what do we have to do? Well, what we have to do is use the formula that we found for length of an arc. And the formula is thinking about the whole circumference is 2r pi, that's circumference, right? Times our angle, our central angle, which in this case is going to be, actually, sorry, it's the other way. It's this way, it's 240. Remember, it's the pececito that we used to say. And all of that over 360, because they're 360 degrees. So if we use that formula, for this case, what we have to do is use the radius, which is 5, given the arc, which I said is 240, because that's the central angle, and that's what we have to use, which is the same as this one, and then divided by 360. And you obviously can use your calculator, but if I simplify that, this is divided by 4 is 9, and this divided by 4 is 6, and divided by 3 is 2, and divided by 3 is 3. So it's going to be 10 times 2 is 20 thirds pi. And that's the length. Again, if you don't have this as your answer, it's wrong. So make sure that you copy the process so you have it correctly. If you just put 240, the problem is that you didn't remember the difference between the length and the measurement. Measurement is in arcs, length is in centimeters or meters or feet or inches, any of the units that we know to measure a distance, okay? Because it's distance. All right, excellent, chicos. We're doing great. Okay, let's keep going. Let's do number 6. I see here. Yeah, number 6, just to be sure. Okay, so we are in problem set 90. Number 6. You don't have to do number 6 in problem set 90. Yeah, I'm sorry if I put it. All right. So we don't have to do number 6. Anything else? Miranda, I don't know what formula you use, but if you got the right answer, that's awesome. So that's great. I'll have to check and see. Okay. All right. Let's continue then to, let's do 30, just to make sure that you guys are doing this correctly, because this is so important. 30 says find the equation of the line. Remember, equation of the line is y equals mx plus b. That's the equation of the line. That's how your answer needs to see or to look. And you have to find m and you have to find b. Those are the two things you have to find. It says of a line that passes through -2, 7 and is perpendicular to this other line. So we have line 1 and we have line 2, and line 1 we have to, well, let me write it first, is x it is x plus 5 equals 7, and the point that they give us here for line 2 is -2, 7. Please make sure you do two spaces of work. You can even just divide it if you don't want to write line 1 and line 2, or just put L1, L2. But make sure you show very clearly that you know that there's a line 1 and a line 2. Because if you put these points here, it's completely wrong. That is not true. This point does not belong to line 1. So please make sure that you show that correctly. Okay, so if I leave y by itself, the x is going to go to subtract. To subtract. And the 5 is going to go to divide. And remember, I put it like that so that it divides both of them. And then it's very easy to see what is M1, M of the line 1. What is it? Is this, -1/5. And since the lines are perpendicular, then I know what is M2. M2 is going to go change to the reciprocal and change the sign. So instead of -1/5, I'm going to put only +5. Remember, it's two changes, the sign and the reciprocal. And remember that here, the reason why they give you this is to find M. That's the whole point. Because once you find M in this line, then you have the M for the second line, okay? If it says parallel instead of perpendicular, if it says parallel, then you just use the same M you found here. That's the same you use here because parallel lines have the same slope. But in this case, that is perpendicular, then you just do the two changes. So now you have all you need to substitute in y equals mx plus b, because you still have to find your b. You don't have b, okay? So how do you find that? You put y, x, so 7 equals 5 times x, -2, plus b. And this -10 is going to go to this side to add +10. Okay, this is -10, and it's going to go to the other side as +10. And so b is 17. So my final answer always has to be an equation. And the equation is going to be the slope from here, 5x plus 17. Okay, so that would be the answer for number 30. Okay, excellent. Let's continue with 91. 91 is really fun. I hope you are use very beautiful colors to graph your answers. And use graphing paper so that it's also very easy and clear to do. Okay, we have like 15 minutes, so let's try to finish with 91 so that we can have everything covered. Okay, 91. Let's do this. Did you see all the videos? I sent you a lot of videos so that you had a lot of different, not ways, but perspectives on what was happening and what are we doing when we are graphing inequalities, okay? So I hope you watched all the videos. So let's do number 6, just to make sure that everyone did it correctly and that you know what you're doing, okay? If you have any other questions from problems at 91, please also write them now. It says, graph y is greater or equal to -x minus 1, and y is less than 1/3 of x plus 1. Okay, that's 6. And for this, it's very easy because the graphing is going to be super, super, super easy. So again, you're going to put on your graphing paper. If you don't have graphing paper in your notebook, then you need to make sure you use graphing paper. You're going to use one of the lines for y, and another line for x, and then each square represents a number, okay? Don't do anything in between or anything crazy, okay? All right, and so what we have to do is we have to use the slope intercept method to graph. And I'm going to use red for this, okay? This is still going to be the red. And so remember that you start here in -1. You start here, okay? And the direction this is telling us is to go down one to the right. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 1 down, 1 to the right, 1 down, 1 to the right, 1 down, 1 to the right. Okay? Now, here is telling us all the answers, y is answer, right? So all the y's or all the answers have to be greater or equal to this line, okay? So since it says equal, I'm going to make a solid line, okay? So I'm gonna go up in here and up in here just so that I have a few more points. So a solid line that connects all these points, okay? And greater than means all these y's that are on top. See how like this line divides here, top, bottom, right? Like on top of the line, under the line. Since we want greater, we want on top of. So I'm gonna say this. And if you have pencils, make sure you color this very nicely, all of that. That would be the answer for the first one. But now we have to do the second one. I'm gonna use blue. So it says starting 1. So we're gonna start there. Okay. And it's telling us to go 1 up, 3 to the right. So 1 up, 3 to the right. 1 up, 3 to the right. And I'm gonna go opposite, 1 down, 1, 2, 3. 1 down, 1, 2, 3. So in this case, notice how here there's no equal. So because there's no equal, this is going to be a broken line. Broken line, because it's saying, I only want the answers less than the line. I don't care about the answers that are the line. So I have to do a broken line. And that's very important. That's part of your answer. Okay? Okay. And so now we have to color the part that is under this line. And so the part under the line is here, right? Again, if you have colors, you can color this very nicely. And guess what? Your solution for this system of inequalities is the part of the graph that you color with both colors. So the solution is only this area here. If I have, this is A, B, C, and D, D is going to be the solution. Only these points. Okay, again, it's infinite because there are infinite points there, but D would be the section that would be the solution, because it's where both of these happen, where we have all the numbers greater or equal to this line, but also less or equal to this line. So eventually, well, you want to make sure that your answer is very clear. So you want to color this a lot stronger. Or eventually, you don't even have to color this part. You just color this part, this triangular area here. Okay. It's really fun, and you can make very pretty designs if you color with nice colors and make it really beautiful. All right. Okay. Any other questions from 91? No? All right. So let's do, I'll do number 7 just to make sure that we have another one of these clear, notebooks and checked. So let's do number 9. Sorry, number 7. Okay, so 7 says, graph also the system of solve the system of equalities. And when we solve our graph, we're finding the numbers that meet both requirements, or that satisfy both of the lines, both of the inequalities. So we have here less or equal to x plus 2. And again, I have to graph my line. I'm going to have this very clear here. Okay, and what we're going to do is graph both of them. So here is going to be start on -1, and since it's 1/1, it's go up 1, 1 to the right, up 1, 1 to the right, up 1, 1 to the right, up 1, 1 to the right. And since there's no equal, it's broken line. So I'm going to do it here. Okay, and I just have to remember that is all the answers are on the top. Okay, I'm going to do this one just by coloring the part that satisfy the inequalities. So let's wait to color yet on this one. So we start on 2. This is the starting point, 2 on Y. And in this one, it says go up 1, 1 to the right. So up 1, 1 to the right, up 1, 1 to the right, up 1, 1 to the right, and the same here. Now, hopefully, you guys realize that this M is the same as this M. And when the two M's are the same, the lines are parallel. So this other line, and this one has an equal, so it's solid line. So this one is going to be like this. Okay, so the lines are parallel very nicely. And so what we're going to do is that we're going to graph what meets that is on top of the line that is blue, but under the line that is black. And the answer is these. Just need another color. This is going to be my answer. The points here in between the two lines are the ones that solve these inequalities, because they are greater than this line, but they are less or equal to this line. So that would be the solution for number 7. Okay, I see question number 10 as a question. So let's do number 10. We will see that lesson 92, we're actually not going to see the lesson. We're just going to work the problem set. But the next lesson that we will see, I can explain it to you next time we see each other, okay? Okay, so let's do 10. 10 is another one of those, in this case, it's a disjunction because we see the word or. So whenever we see the word or, we think about disjunction. And so it says x plus 2 cannot be less or equal to 5, or x plus 5 is less than 6, and I want real numbers. Okay, so in this case, what we have to do is we have to solve for both of these. So again, we're first going to pass this to affirmative. So no other change other than changing these two. Greater than 5. Then the 2 goes to subtract, which makes it 3. So x has to be greater than 3, or if we solve here, the 5 goes to subtract, x is less than 1. Okay, so let's graph this. Here is 1, here is 3, okay? And so it's saying it can be numbers that are less than 1, not included, so this way, or greater than 3, not included, going this way. So that would be the answer, the graph for number 10. Remember that there's no number here that is also here. And that's the idea about disjunction, is give me either these numbers or those numbers, but don't give me any number here. So if we were playing a game and I say, well, you win a chocolate if you tell me a number less than 1 or greater than 3, and Miranda tells me 2, then Miranda would go sadly home without a chocolate, because 2 is not here or here. If Timothy tells me 1, he would also go home sadly crying without a chocolate because 1 is not included. Okay? But if Samuel tells me 0, 0 is here, 0 is part of the answer, he would win a chocolate. And if Benji tells me 100, 100 is here. It's on this side. So he also wins a chocolate. And you can say, but teacher, 100 is here, but it's not here. That's the idea with disjunction, that it can be either this or this, and it's still part of my answer. Okay? Okay, excellent, chicos. I think that's it. All right? I hope you keep working very well. Remember to give your best. Again, there are resources for you to look for help. You can watch the videos that your other classmates do. You can look for videos in internet. You can even put Saxon Algebra, blah, and it tells you the lesson, and you can look for videos there. You can always ask me for help. I'm willing to help you, and you can help each other. So let's make sure that every time we do a exercise or we do a problem set, that we do it a conciencia. We do it knowing that it's our work, and the best that we do, if we work with excellence, we learn better than if we just do it to turn in some pictures to the teacher. Okay? The whole point is that you are learning, not just to send me work. All right, chicos, we are going to see each other soon, hopefully. Remember, continue to grow in different areas of your life. Learn languages, cook, bake, exercise, but most of all, make sure your soul is fed and connecting with the creator, with the sustainer of our life. Okay? So love you. Hope to see you soon. Bye.